Hey, Jim here. Welcome to the part 4 of year's review of the 2022. In previous parts, I covered what my goals were, how I progressed with them, most important things that happened with me, and dating goals, dating achievements. And now we continue from point number 19. And it's all gonna steer into the more of the mindset stuff, more of the mental stuff. So the point 19 is I started helping people improve their life and started aiming to make a world a slightly better place with me and everyone around me. That sounded really fucking cheesy to me at the start. What is it like making a world a better place and all? But it kind of clicked with me over the course of this year that it all starts from, even if you just improve your life, you're already making a world a better place. You already made the life of one person better. And you start to affect other people around you as well. And it doesn't need to be a big change. Even if you can make someone smile or make someone days better, it's already better. So I started internalizing this concept, and now I like it. I like doing that. I like defining my life by it. I'm not afraid of thinking that way anymore. And I started expanding on it because of this coaching that I'm in right now. And the first thing I started doing, I created a blog. That is the next point. And I started sharing my experience, my stories, something that I got to see in my life in a hopes that it can help someone else. I learned that I can create content that can help someone. And it actually did. That was surprising for me. With some people that I shared my articles, something that I did, and even my first video that I did, it was at least an inspiration for some people to start their own things. And just some concepts that I got to see in my life helped other people, or at least they helped me immensely, and then I could transfer that to other people. So that was actually good. And just the very act of starting a blog, that I didn't think I would do that for a long time. It feels nice to finally do that, finally allow myself to share my experiences with people. Then the related point, I started a coaching. I started my own coaching. I got some clients and I even made some money out of it. So I have been paid quite cool amounts already. I didn't charge it at the start. It was more of a, you can pay me whatever you want if you want to. I didn't expect that, and I was pleasantly surprised. But the coaching, was the thing that I wanted to get to at some point in my life. Definitely wanted to share my experiences, but I thought I wasn't ready yet, and I was completely wrong. I was ready. I had a lot to give, surprisingly, when I started coaching people, just clients, and practicing on friends and family, which is like a professional deformation at this point. I realized that I guess all of us has some experiences that we can share with someone else, something that we went through that or still going through that we can share with people and help them. It's just a new perspective on the things that we already know. So yeah, it was a very big thing for me to give myself permission to start my coaching, to allow myself to share my experience, to allow myself to give that to other people. And I'm glad I started it this year and not 5 years later, because it seems that that is a thing that brings me a lot of joy and teaches me a lot of things as well. So it will be really beneficial in the years forward. I cannot say properly today, I guess. Yeah. I created a YouTube channel and learned how to record videos and put it there. Surprisingly, I have a YouTube channel, if you didn't know. Uh, yeah, that was the thing that I actually got from one of my clients who started doing YouTube videos. And I was so inspired by it that I, at one time, just thought, why not? Why not start myself? That was my first video, just start something. I don't know what to do yet with this channel. I think the blog gives me more for now. Just in the way of how I shape my thoughts. It's hard for now to talk on camera and I don't really get a lot out of it. I don't really refine my concepts. I can share them, I can share my experiences, but I don't get something for myself while recording videos or podcasts. But it is a good concept to have, especially now when I got into this setup that I do now. It would be, I would do that from time to time, I guess. Yeah, that's it about blog coaching and business category. The next one is fully mindset and self-improvement. So 23rd point, that is really important for me. I did my I will never quit tattoo. So it is that one. Yeah. I did it while being in Armenia when after some pretty huge breakdown that was the tattoo for me that remind when I recovered the next day after I recovered, I did this tattoo just to remind myself that no matter what happens, I will never quit. And I don't think we are able to quit after some point into when we get into self-improvement because we know too much. It is like a curse that we just cannot see life in previous terms. But yeah, I knew all of that. But to remind yourself, um, it is a pretty useful thing for me. And it also bears some gratitude to Andy from Kill Your Inner Loser because I got this phrase from him. I say it a little bit differently than him, so it still has some of my touch. But it's one of his past concepts that helped me a lot. So it is both gratitude and promise to myself, and the reminder to myself too, that my life will be okay. So the next point is I changed my view of life to be more positive. That was huge in this year. I started this year as I was being negative a lot of times. It was hard for me to see something frustrating, something bad that happens to me as a positive thing. And after a couple of breakdowns, after all of this year, and especially in the course of this coaching in the last 2 months, I made this huge switch to the positive, to being more calm and peaceful, and just trying to find the solutions instead of problems. Starting to accept reality of the situation, not trying to argue with it, not going to war with it. That came a lot from just the overall positive mindset came from the book You Can't Afford the Luxury of a Negative Thought that I read at the start of this year. That was like the initial push. And then I'll get to it later, but I read Baron Katie's stuff. I'm still reading it now, uh, which is Loving What Is book. It's again about the reality, about accepting what is happening now, and it helps me a lot in to have to keep this positive mindset on life and to look for what I can actually do instead of just dwelling on the negatives like I did before, like I did at the start of this year. That was huge. And now the positive worldview is almost always with me, almost all the time. I still slip up from time to time on some days, but it returns really fast. So that was one of the best things that happened this year. Next one, I internalized the principle of 1% improvement or tiny steps choices that compounds daily over time. Yeah, that is a concept from Slight Edge book, and 1% improvement is from Atomic Habits that I haven't read yet. Uh, it I used it extensively all this year. I read about it last year, so this concept wasn't a new thing that happened to me this year, but I actually started implementing it in everything I was doing specifically this year because I was being serious about all of this. Um, and it it showed a great amount of results with every area of life, I guess. With dating, it was me trying to do a lot of things on Tinder, trying to do a lot of things on Cold Approach, and not having any success until the very end of the year when I finally realized what I needed to do to have that success. With mindset stuff, with just being peaceful about things, it was the same. I tried doing that, being more positive, being more peaceful about things for a long time. And at the end of the year, it finally started getting into its place, and I started using it fully. There was yeah some techniques like just focusing on the next possible step of the goal and not looking at the mountain at the whole goal uh, when it just scared me, and that was the concept I used a lot in my last breakdowns, where I just couldn't focus on anything huge, and I was reasoning with myself to just think what is the least, what is the next step I can do that I can actually do. Like it's, I may think of that something is possible for me to do, but I won't do that. I won't do something serious. I couldn't get out of the house in that moment. So I reasoned with myself, what is the next thing I can do, even if it's tiny. And I ended up doing at least something and keeping momentum, and with every passing day doing a little bit more, just focusing on the only thing I could do. And that helped me recover a lot. Yeah, and in these concepts, it's tried to be consistent, and that I definitely did this year. I had some pauses, yes, but almost all of the days I was consistent. It helped that I had 365 projects, that I had to do something every day, at least post my photos. And I really internalized it that it doesn't need to be something huge. It just needs to be consistent and every day and build on that. That is awesome. That will help me with the rest of my life, I guess. That is, I will practice it a lot this next year also, but I had already good progress with it. I internalized the belief that I can have anything I want eventually. That was also the huge thing that I had to handle. I had a lot of down moments when I just was worried about time that I don't have. Like basically the fear of missing out, and that I won't be able to achieve my what I want uh, quick enough. So one of the things was to move to some country where I can have better dating experience, or even this dating experience itself here, where I couldn't wait for a couple of months because I was frustrated and all. And the first thing that comes into my mind at this point is like I'm wasting my time. And even yeah, and even working on anything, on any of my goals, on the business thing, on blog thing, uh, everything that I worked this year, I was all for the huge chunk of it, I was afraid of wasting time, of wasting even one day. I thought that I had to go all in each day, and if I will sleep up at some day, I will fail. But it doesn't work like that. It's more about consistency. And this year it clicked with me that I actually have almost unlimited time. I would say unlimited time. Because why does it matter when you achieve your goal? You will achieve it eventually, uh, because you won't quit. So it will still have the same good things about it, the same excitement and enjoyment. And even if it won't have particularly that, maybe you won't have such an enjoyment from, uh, I would say, like maybe there are more enjoyment from having a lot of money and passive income at like 20s compared to 30s or 40s. But there are more opportunities, but it doesn't mean that it's specifically better, because you will still have something in your life instead of these opportunities that you could use that can still be enjoyable. It's just a matter of how you look at it, and a matter of enjoying the process and not focusing on the destination. That was a huge switch for me, that I stopped worrying about wasting time. Uh, yeah, I learned to be okay with taking my time and accept delayed gratification. Yeah, basically what I talked about right now. Um, yeah, I have no more to say about that. Um, I started taking more risks and allowing myself to suck if needed. Yeah, the main concept of Andy's teaching philosophies is give yourself permission to suck, and I got pretty good at it this year. I had to be good at it when I started my 365 project, but I also used it in every huge thing I did this year. So while moving countries, I just went to it without much thinking. I just allowed myself to see what it could be and adjust in the process. When I was starting cold approaching and just talking to girls, saying compliments, and even approach anxiety program, when I just asked for time, I had to give myself this permission. And taking more risks applied to both of them as well. Um, there are a lot of other things that I started a lot of things this year, and it's this giving myself permission to suck is helped me with every of these things. Okay, it affected all of my life areas: social, dating, sex, relationships, time management, sleep, mental health, money, gym, and overall lifestyle. Yes. I made a huge progress to stop constantly trying to prove myself and be perfect. Ties up to that too. I thought I needed to achieve to be perfect to have some kind of success, and actually no. It helps, of course, being better, but it doesn't matter as much when you just start doing something. You'll still have some success, some percentage of success, and I proved it to myself this year. I learned to be more outcome independent and do the actions primary for ah it's hard to read from the text. Yeah. Ah, mm, yeah. I learned outcome independence and that all the actions are, even failures, are detrimental for my experience and growth. Ties into all of these points as well, that everything is a learning experience. I started liking some failures even because they teach me a lot. With some areas, I specifically went for failures, like with the blog or videos or like record, like all of this business stuff. Even coaching, when I started coaching friends, I didn't know what to do. I just went there and I knew I would fail, and I knew that because I would fail, I will learn so much into it. And I guess I forced my last breakdown, maybe kinda unconsciously, but I could have escaped it, but I just kept pushing myself right into this breakdown, and I learned a lot from it. So I actually chased some of the failures because I knew they will give me a lot of things for myself. That was a really great thing that I did. The next point, 28, I learned to trust myself more. Yeah. This trust mostly comes from 2 points. Like, I learned more techniques to handle my negative periods. I learned that even if I sleep up for a while, I won't have a lot of productivity and things done, and I will even beat myself up. I will still recover from that. There is some part of my mind that wants me to succeed. Like I told about, when we get into self-improvement, there's still something that knows what we can achieve, and it pushes us to do that. So I saw this part of me in my last breakdown, actually, when I was feeling paranoid and I thought that all of my thoughts were against me. I couldn't do anything, but it wasn't all of my mind. There was still something that wanted me to succeed. I just needed to find some approach to reason with that. So that is one of the parts that I will always find some solution to this problem, even if it requires just asking other people for help. Because trusting other people, in my mind, only possible when I trust myself that I will be able to handle everything that they want to give me. So when I couldn't trust myself and I could trust other people, it was still a sign that I was trusting myself at some point. I just didn't realize it at the in the middle of this. So I came a lot closer to fully trusting myself. And yeah, just choosing for some unproductive periods instead of going all in, by feeling that it will be better for me in the long run. Um, that is the thing that I completely couldn't understand at the start of this year. I created a very strict schedules for myself. I was going all in without any trying to do no distractions at all and no relaxation at all. And my mind and my body just started creating distractions for me in the middle of it. So there is no way around it. And it's better when I trust myself to schedule these periods, to see me not being productive as me being productive at relaxation and all that. It still helps. Everything helps. Depends on attitude. So if I will beat myself up, I will have even less energy. But if I accept what happens as a reality, as something that I need, I trust that my choices are what are for the better, for my better life, I can easily recover from that, and I can go even better after these couple of days of low effort. Yeah, I can switch my goals and priorities in the middle now. I couldn't do that at the start. I had to do complete structure in beforehand in the previous day. Um, and now I still create plans, but if I feel like something is more important in the middle of a day, I can easily switch to that, because I trust myself to that this choice is something that I really need. Yeah, I believe that in one way or another, I will find an approach to every situation that I will encounter that helps with trust at all. Okay, so the next point is I started being more assertive. That isn't something I mastered yet. I only started. The book that I read, When I Say No, I Feel Guilty, it is the name of the book. It is awesome. It helps a lot with just showing you what's possible, that it is okay to do even seemingly bad things if you know the consequences and you accept them. And that is the point of being assertive and being having integrity. to do some controversial things because you know that it is better for you, accepting all of the consequences you have, but doing something still because in the end it will create a better result for you, or at least you believe that. So, and being assertive in just saying what you want and going for it, just standing your ground, having boundaries and all. So I only started doing this. Most of the progress is on dates, but it shows in other areas of life, mostly in social, because assertiveness is more about social stuff. But even with myself, when I know that I want something, even by myself, I can accept that I want this and go for it. So it helps a lot. Next point is I brainwashed myself into productivity and positivity. I surrounded myself with podcasts, with videos, with books about positive stuff, and just every free moment that I have, I usually have some podcast, something in the back that speaks to me in the background, and it helped a lot with reframing my positive thinking. And I put it in different point because I was afraid of doing that, I think, before. And I realized that it's really helpful. I was afraid of not living my own life, of just copying someone, and it doesn't work like that. I started just getting some ideas from all of these podcasts, and yeah, I also had the idea that I need to listen specifically, like I will waste some information if I will just listen to it while I'm doing something else. And it actually still stays, it's actually still helpful. And just cutting away all of the distractions, all of the negative stuff, and replacing it with this positive voice in your head that always supports you, it can have really good results. Like, it doesn't have immediate results, I would say, but after the whole year of constantly having some support in every day in the back of my head while listening to someone, it is good. It really helps. So that was the 30th point, and I'm already at half an hour, so that will be it for this part, and we will continue into the next one for half the points in mindset stuff, and there will be quite cool things afterwards too. So yeah, I'm glad you listened to it. If you did, thank you, and have a great day. Bye, folks.